Hello everyone, welcome to Hadoop Learning Center. My name is Suraj and today we are going to learn how to install Hadoop 2 in your system step by step. So before starting the installation process, let me tell you what is the minimum requirement you need to have in your system. So the first thing is you must have at least i3 or i5 processor, followed by at least 4 GB of RAM, but it will be great if you have 8 GB of RAM. Why? Because if you have just 4 GB of RAM, then you can still install Hadoop, but while working with Hadoop, you will feel some slowness. Now I have a document here and I've written everything step by step what needs to be done, and I'll suggest you guys to follow this document one by one. So first let's try to see if your system is 32-bit or 64-bit. It is very important for us to understand. So what you need to do is go to Google and just say 𝗙𝗀𝗴𝗶 download. Now click on the very first link. Okay, and it says download now. Click on this download now. Save this file. Now you can open it directly. Say yes. Now look into this. It will tell you the status of your CPU. It says your computer is i7, this model, with CPU at 2.4 GHz, and it says your CPU is 64-bit. Okay, I'm not talking about operating system. This is basically CPU bit length. And now one more important point would be whether your CPU supports virtualization or not. Now this one is very important point, whether your CPU supports virtualization or not. If yes, that means you can install VMware, and under VMware you can have your Ubuntu or any other operating system. If it is no, then you cannot install VMware. Okay, so my system says it is a 64-bit and it supports virtualization. Now let's move to the document. So I have also given you the link here, so you can just follow this link and get that downloaded. Okay, now what are the software we are going to use in order to install our VM? Okay, so basically we will be using VMware Workstation, the latest one. We will be using Ubuntu, the latest one. We will be using Java 8 64-bit, and then we will download Eclipse Luna or the latest version of Eclipse, and we will get started with that. Now let's try to download the VMware Workstation and try to install it in our system. So I'll start with Google and then just say VMware Workstation. Okay, so this will give you the link. You can directly go to the very first link. Alright, so it says try for free. You can download this. Okay, now we have two options here, VMware Workstation 12 for 64-bit Windows and for 64-bit Linux, and currently this is my Windows operating system, so I would be choosing 64-bit Windows. Click on download now and just say save file. Now wait for some time till this download gets over. Okay, so it's downloaded. Let me go to that place. So this is the place where we have downloaded our VMware Workstation. Okay, now let's try to install it. Double click on this. Now it has started installing VMware Workstation 12. Let's wait for some time. Say next. Say I accept. Say next. You can click or you can ignore, choice is yours. And if you want, you can choose the installation place. That's fine, you can go with next. You can say next. You can say next. Finally install. So it will take some time. It will not take much time. Let's wait for that time. Okay, so finally, once that is done, it will ask you to enter the license or say finished. We don't have any license, so you can just say finished. Alright, so just now what we have done is we have downloaded and installed our VMware Workstation. Now it's time to launch the VMware and let's see how it looks. Alright, so initially you will not see anything as such. You'll just have one small welcome window. Okay, so we have successfully configured our VMware Workstation. Now we need to download the Ubuntu latest and then we need to install that Ubuntu under this VM Workstation. Let's go to the next topic, downloading Ubuntu 16 and installing it. So basically we will again go back to Google, okay, and then let's say Ubuntu 16 download. I'll go with 16.04. Alright, now look into this. It says it is a desktop image. Okay, so basically I'm going to install everything 64-bit. Now if you remember, in the last 10 minutes ago we have discussed how to use the 𝗂𝗲𝗴𝗶𝗀𝗀 to find out whether your CPU is 32-bit or 64-bit. If your CPU is 64-bit, then you should install 64-bit desktop image. Okay, however, if your CPU is 32-bit, then you cannot install 64-bit Ubuntu. You have to install 32-bit Ubuntu. Okay, so based on that you choose what you want. So I'll be going with 64-bit desktop image. Click on this and then it's a file of 1.4 GB. Just say save and it may take some sweet time of 10 minutes. Let us wait for 10 minutes. So basically I'm just pausing the screen instead of waiting for 10 minutes and making the video long. So let me pause till we get the download. Alright, so finally we have downloaded that and let's say we have brought it under this location. So in the D drive I have created a folder Hadoop software where I kept my let's say VMware, and then I have also kept my Ubuntu. Now it's time to install our Ubuntu. So let's move to the document. The document says download the Ubuntu 16 ISO file and save it to any location. Okay, so E drive softwares or any location. Now we'll go back to our VMware Workstation, whatever we have installed. We'll say file, new VM virtual machine. Okay, then say typical, say next, choose your disk, go to browse. I'll go to D drive, Hadoop software. This is my Ubuntu 16.4 and then say next. Now start giving your details. So full name, let's say I'll give the name like this, or let's say Ubuntu 16.04. Username, let me give Suraj. Password, let me give Hadoop. Okay, confirm password Hadoop, say next. What is the VMware name you want to give? So I would say Ubuntu 64-bit, Ubuntu 16.4 64-bit, and choose the location where you want your VM to be created. Now I will choose, let me choose D drive, Ubuntu 16.4 64-bit, say next. Recommended size. Now you can choose 20 GB, but I will suggest you to choose more, because when you install Hadoop and then when you install Peak, Hive, Scoop and Maven and so on, your 20 GB may not be sufficient. Okay, so let's make it 60 GB, which will be more than enough for us, and keep it as it is. Say next. Now try to customize your hardware. By default, the memory allocated is just 1 GB. In 1 GB, if you try to install your Ubuntu, it may take a lot of time, and it may be very slow. So if you have enough RAM, go to this area, memory, and change your memory to whatever you can. My laptop has got 16 GB of RAM total, so I can go and select 4 GB or 8 GB or whatever. Processor, I have total 8 processors, so I can say 2 into 2 and just say close, done, and say finished. Alright, now here, while starting, you may get a problem like this. While starting, you may get a problem like this. If you come across this problem, that means your laptop supports the virtualization, but it is by default disabled. Whenever you buy any new laptop, by default they are not enabled, they are disabled. So how to fix this problem? You need to reboot your system and go to your BIOS setup. The BIOS setup should look something like this. Google it out, how to go to the BIOS setup of your system, and then you should find something called virtualization technology. Okay, in one or other area you should find the virtualization technology, and by default they are disabled. You just enable it and then save settings and reboot your system. Okay, so in my system, in my laptop, I have already enabled that. I did not get that error message. Now the process would be very simple. You just need to wait, and then slowly it will start installing everything one by one. Okay, so as I said, once you reboot your system, once you log in your VMware workstation, you should see this page. Okay, and now you just click on power on virtual machine, and then it will start the booting from the disk, and it will start installing your VM. So installation of this VM will take approximately 30 minutes. Okay, so let's wait patiently for the next 30 minutes. Now let us wait till it has downloaded all these 56 components. Okay, so the Ubuntu is successfully installed, and then we have to wait for a couple of more minutes in order to get our screen loaded. Now the whole process may take around close to 30 minutes. Okay, so once that is done, it is trying to reboot the Ubuntu. Okay, so the password is Hadoop. Now initially when you look into this screen, this is a very small screen because of the resolution setting. You need to reset your screen display, or you need to reset the resolution to fit your screen. Now there is a button here which will tell go to a full screen mode. You can go to full screen mode also. Okay, so by default this is the resolution which you need to change. So now let's move to the next topic, change the screen resolution. How to do that? You have to go to system settings, display, and change the resolution to whatever suits your computer. Now I'll go to this place, and here is my system setting. Click on this. Okay, and then I'll go to display. Okay, and then resolution, let me choose 1440/900 and say OK. Keep this configuration. Next, let's move to the docs. Now next is check if the internet is accessible from Ubuntu or not. How do you check? Open your browser. And say google.com. Okay, so we are able to access internet. That's a good thing. In case you are not able to access internet, so what you do is, let me exit the full screen mode. You shut down this. Okay, I'll tell you that later what needs to be done. Basically you can shut down this, and there would be a setting which says NAT or bridge. Okay, you have to change that connection. We'll see that later, because if I shut down now, again we have to wait for some time. Okay, next is check if your copy paste is working or not. So copy paste means check if you are able to drag and drop something from your Windows to your Ubuntu. Looks like it is not. Okay, I'm not able to drag and drop. So let's do one thing. Let's shut down. Let's shut down the guest, and we will try to restart the Ubuntu system, and then we will see whether it works or not. Yeah, so I was talking about that internet settings. So in case you were not able to access internet, go to your network adapter. Okay, so I'm using net. You can choose bridge and see if that works for you. Okay, so ideally either bridge or net should work for you. In my case, I'm able to access the internet through net, so I'll not disturb this setting. I'll say OK, and let me again power on my VM. So let's wait till it reboots again. So ideally 1-2 reboots or restart should sort out your problem. Okay, now let me again try. Let me see if I'll be able to copy paste or not. You are able to drag and drop the files from your Windows to Ubuntu and vice versa. This is very important. When you write a program, you may want to copy the program from Ubuntu to Windows or Windows to Ubuntu. So make sure that this works for you. Okay, next what we will do is, let's open the terminal. So the shortcut is Control Alt and T. Okay, Alt Control and T. Fine. So initially you may want to increase the font. So here is the way to increase the font. You just go to preferences. Okay, go to edit, and you can say profile preferences. Here you can choose custom font and increase your font to 16 or 17 and etc. Select and say close. Now it has become little bigger. Control L to clear your screen. Okay, so far we are good. Now let me go full screen. The full screen is completely fitting into our screen. Next, now the Ubuntu which you have installed right now, okay, now it is not released today itself. Like it might have got released, let's say a couple of months ago, or let's say a couple of days ago. And the software which are used under in that Ubuntu, the software center might have got updated. For example, what generally happens is in Ubuntu you will have a lot of softwares, and all those softwares takes the update from one repository. So let's try to upgrade those repositories so that whenever you download any software, you'll always get the latest software. So in order to do that, you need to execute these 3 commands one by one. Copy this, right click and say paste should work. Copy this and say paste. Password is Hadoop. It will not take much time. You need to have an internet connection for this. It will be completed in no time. Okay, done. Alright, next you update the center, you upgrade the centers. This takes a lot of time, around 17 minutes it took when I did it for the last time. So it will take a sweet 16 to 17 minutes. Let's wait till that time. Alright, so finally we are done with this process. Okay, so once this is done, you have to again say update, so that all the upgrades whatever you have done just now will be updated to the latest. Say Hadoop. It should not take much time. Alright, it's done. Okay, now next step is we will try to see whether open in terminal is already present or not. So what I mean to say is, I'll go to any folder. Let me click on this. I'll go to any folder and just right click and see there is open in terminal. Okay, so in the last time when we installed Ubuntu 14.04, that time we had to manually install some software in order to enable this option, and this will be very helpful whenever you want to open this or any folder into your terminal. Okay, so currently like it is pointing to documents. Let's move to the next. Now we will try to install VIM. What is this tool? So whenever you are installing Java, or when you configure in Java or Hadoop, that time you may have to modify a lot of configuration files. By default there is a editor called VI editor, but VI editor is really not a good terminal, which I believe. So we will be using VIM. So basically VIM is a software. It is like your text editor where you can edit some text and do some configuration changes. Now in order to install that software, all you need to do is go to your terminal and then just say paste. Just execute this command. say yes. Why? Okay, so this is installing, it is basically installing the vim terminal. So I would say vim editor. Now using this vim editor, you can edit any configuration file with much more easiness. Okay, let's move down. Okay, so this is the fundamental installing and setting up your Ubuntu. Now we will go to the next section, how to install Java into this Ubuntu. Okay, so till this time what we will do is I'll open my browser here itself. And let me say google.com. I'll say Java 8 download. Okay, so let me click on Java SE development. Alright, and now I'll say accept. So you have to make sure that you choose the appropriate version. So I'm basically I have basically downloaded Ubuntu 64-bit, so it is Linux 64. Okay, however we will not install this RPM. Let me make it little bigger. However, we are not going to install this RPM. We will be installing this 𝗙𝗏𝗁𝐺. So we should install this software. Okay, now let me click on this download. I'll say save and say okay. Alright, so basically our Java is getting downloaded. Let's wait till that time. Done. Okay, so let me click on this open folder. So now you go to this place, you will find your Java here. Okay, now let's go as per the document. So the document says download the 64 Java for Linux in tar.gz. We have done that. So now the document says JDK 891, and what we have downloaded, let's see, we have downloaded JDK 891. Okay, so when you download the JDK, that time you may see it's JDK 8, the subversion may get changed. Like instead of 91, you may see 92, 93, 94, 95. So if that is the case, make sure that you make the changes in the configuration accordingly. Okay, so let me copy this to my desktop. Alright, done. Okay, let's move as per the document. Move it to the folder. Now I'm saying move it to the folder, say /user local Java. So what we will do is we will use terminal to move this file into that particular location. So Control L, I'll say CD desktop. Okay, ls. I have a Java JDK tar.gz folder. Now I'll just execute this command. Let me create a folder called Java under /user local. By default, under your /user local there is no folder called Java, so we are trying to create a folder called Java. Copy this, paste, Control L, enter. Okay, done. Next, change the permission of this Java folder so that anybody can perform read, write, execute operation on it. Now you try to copy this JDK tar.gz into this. Copy this, say paste, enter, done. Now what we have done so far is we have copied this JDK tar.gz from desktop to /user local Java. Now let's go to that place. Okay, now we came inside /user local Java where we have recently copied this file JDK 8. I'll say ls. Now you can see there is a folder called JDK 8u91. Okay, next we would like to unzip it. Just say paste sudo tar /zv/zf your file name. What it will do is it will unzip this. This file is basically a zip file and we are trying to unzip this file. Alright, done. So every time to clear the screen I press Ctrl+L. Okay, so we have unzipped that. Let me see the content again. ls. Now this is the content, this is the result of the unzip operation. Once this is unzipped, you can happily delete this. Sudo rm jdk gz, done. So we have deleted the zip file because we have already extracted that. Let's move forward. Next is, just now we have unzipped the Java. Now we have to set the path in a profile file. Okay, so what we will do is we will open a file called profile and we will set our Java. So basically I'm saying sudo means super user do something. A normal user cannot edit this file. So that's the reason I'm trying to say, hey, treat me as a root, treat me as a boss, and just try to open this file to edit something. And what is this vim? Vim is basically that editor which we have recently installed. So just copy paste this, paste. Let me say Ctrl+L to hide everything. Done. Now just go down, completely down, come this side and press I to make it into insert mode, and now hit enter. If you don't press I, then you will not be able to edit. I means insert mode means write mode. Okay, now here you can just copy these commands. Java home, setting your Java. Now my Java is pointing to my Java is installed in this place. After some time, when you try to download the JDK, then you may not get 91. 91 is the subversion. You may get 94, 95, 100, or maybe some other version. So make sure that you change this appropriately. Okay, so I don't have to change anything from here. I'll just copy them. Now if you're very new to Linux, don't try to understand too many things right now. You will slowly understand what are each of these commands. You are in insert mode. Now you press escape, say :wq. That means save and quit, write and quit. Done. Now once this is done, you need to inform your Ubuntu Linux system where your Oracle JDK is installed. So in short, just copy and paste these two commands. This will change the default location. So what I mean to say is, when you download and install your Ubuntu, by default they do have their own Java. Okay, you'll see some Java coming along with the default Ubuntu. But I want to change that location. I want to say, hey Ubuntu, from now onwards, whenever you want to refer to Java, you should refer to this location. Okay, and please change your version accordingly. So for me, I'll just copy these two and say paste. Done. Next is inform your Ubuntu that the Oracle Java should be the default Java. Don't treat any other Java uh, as the default Java, but whatever Java you have installed just now, treat that as a default Java. And the previous one was telling where exactly the new Java is located. So copy this and say paste. Control L to clear the screen. Done. So just now we have edited this profile. Just now we have edited this profile file, right? We have opened this profile file and we have made these changes. Now what we need to do is, let's try to refresh that file. So to refresh that file, you can just say dot space the file name. Done. So we have refreshed our profile file. That means reloaded our profile file. Okay. Now once this is done, you try to see the version of Java in your Ubuntu. So just say Java -version, and then you should see Java version is pointing to 1.8.091. In case it is not pointing to what you have installed now, you have to go back and figure out something, like you might have done one or other mistake somewhere. Alright, so this completes your Java installation. It was very easy. Now let's see how to install Eclipse. So basically installing Eclipse is also very easy. What you need to do is just open your browser and then say Eclipse. Now the very recent version is Eclipse Neon. You can try that also. Okay, so before Neon the latest version was Mars, but now the latest version is Eclipse Neon. So I'll click on download. I'll click on download packages. It's taking some time. Okay, so anyways I got it here. So now let me say I want Eclipse ID for Java EE developer. That's also fine. Or else if you are not looking for any JEE, then you could download this also, Eclipse ID for Java developer. This will also do your job. So click on 64-bit because we are using Linux 64-bit. Click on this. Alright, so click on download button now. Alright, so if you want to give some donation you can, otherwise just save it, save this file and say okay. Now wait for some time till it gets downloaded. Okay, so we have installed our Eclipse Neon. I'll click on this folder and then check your files here. We got it here. Now I'll just say Control X. Let me go to my home and paste. Then let's try to extract it. I'll say open with, or you can say extract here. Done. So once it is extracted, you can delete this. Now all you have is Eclipse, and also you can delete this Java. We have already installed Java in our system. Let's click on this file, click on home, and here you can see your Eclipse. double click on this and let's try to launch it. Click on this Eclipse icon, or you can say make link. I would like to make a link. I created a link. I'll cut this link and let me paste this link to my desktop, and I'll rename it to Eclipse. Double click on this. So here we go, we have our Eclipse Neon. Now I have tried with this Eclipse Neon and it is little bit slow right now because it is recently launched, and then we might have a lot of bugs or so on. So it's okay if you want, you can still go with the 𝗏 and get started with 𝗏. Okay, so it's taking some time to launch. Alright, so whenever you open your workspace for the first time, you will get a welcome screen, and because of some issues you are not able to see. Maybe it's taking some time to load. Let's close it, no worries. I'll just create a Java project. And let's say hello world. Just trying to check if our Eclipse is running successfully or not. Let's create a class. Hello world. I'll say public static void main finished. Alright, and then say system.out.println sys out. Save, right click, run as Java application. Okay, we got the output. Now you may want to increase the font. You go to Windows Preferences, Font, Colors and Font, go to Basics, scroll a bit, Text Font, say Edit, and then increase it to Select, Apply, say OK. Now we got a little bigger font. Okay, so this is all about how do you install your VMware latest, and then Ubuntu, and then your Java, and then Eclipse. Now what is next? So once you are done with this, I will suggest you to first close this Eclipse, to close this Ubuntu, say power off, done. Now check where exactly we have installed this Ubuntu. We have installed this Ubuntu in D drive Ubuntu 16.4 folder. Let's go to that place. D drive Ubuntu 16.4 64-bit folder. What is the size of it? The size of this folder is 7.404 GB. Let me go inside this. Now these are the images. Okay, so this is the image which got created when you install your Ubuntu. Now I will suggest you to take the backup of it. How to take the backup? Right click on this and just say 7-zip, add to a zip file. This may take some time, so I will suggest you to take a zip file, create a zip file of it, so that tomorrow if anything goes wrong in this Ubuntu, then you can just unzip this file and use it. Okay, so let's wait till this zipping is completed. Alright, so basically we have created a zip file now, and now if something goes wrong, let's say if your VM got crashed, or your Ubuntu got corrupted, or few things did not went well, so what you can do is you can delete this. Okay, so this is basically the image which you are using now. If something goes wrong, you can easily delete this like this, deleted, and now extract this which you have already taken the backup. Let's wait for some time. So we are almost done. Maybe in 2 minutes we'll be able to extract our zip file. Okay, so basically what we have done is we have extracted this. Now how to load that? Now what do you do? File, open. Now go to the place, like we have recently extracted this back here, right, and click on this. Wait for some time, and then you will see it getting loaded. So that means tomorrow if I give you a zip file and saying that this is my VM image, all you need to do is just extract it and then go to your go to your VM and then just browse open and then just load it. Once loaded, you can click on power on. All right. So that's all for today, and we will continue our Hadoop installation in the next series. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share our videos. Thank you.